day.
Raul, Joe, very nice to meet you, brother.
It's so good to be here.
I have enjoyed your content tremendously online, and I really got into a video this morning that I was watching where you found this megalithic site that was undocumented in Peru. It's incredible that they still have these ancient sites that, for whatever reason, it seems like the money that they get gets stolen. Like the money that is supposed to be allocated towards documenting these things and registering these things, people just say, fuck it, I'm gonna pocket it. And
It happens a lot more than you think.
it's just hard to believe, man. Some of the stuff that you document is very heartbreaking. Like one of them was when you flew a drone over these ancient ruins and you showed the amount of places that have been looted, and it's just all of it. It's just pop. You see these holes. And when I first saw it, I'm like, what is he showing me? And then you're like, these are all spots where someone has dug in and looted, and most of it has been done in this area of Peru over the last 20 years. So from 2006 to 2026, more.
I would have the biggest amount of looting happened. It's actually died down some, but the end of the 1980s to 2010s.
That's when it's really
like when it really. And you can tell from the trash that's cigarettes that were only produced in the 80s, soda bottles that were produced in the 90s.
How nice of them to steal the artifacts and leave trash.
They've become landfills of human remains. This place you're talking about is, it's 8 full kilometers of just, it looks like the moon. Every single location has been looted. Like, I gotta go up there and see what this looks like. And so,
Pull up to it. So, looting, what are they at that point in time? I mean, these are hundreds, thousands of years old, these sites. So, what do they find?
well, a lot of the mummies that I found mummies that have been torn apart, literally, like they're cotton, like they're wrapped in textiles that they're wrapped in. I mean, it's just scavenged.
Are they looking for jewels?
Or for some sort of metallurgy, like on the person themselves. The unfortunate thing is, I mean, all you'll see is you'll just see these bones littered across the landscape with broken pieces of pottery.
That was also disturbing. How much bones you see? This is, you see a bone right there. These are all human bones that you just find scattered.
That's all cotton. What we're about to see here is the actual water that's been torn.
This is so sad that there's no protection.
Nobody's going to. Except for the
Well, I know very little about Peru other than, obviously, the massive lines, the mummies, all these different things, the mystery of the place. Keep showing up. Oh, it's cool.
But there's a couple burial drone shots here.
It's just,
Go to the top.
how big is Peru? I don't even know geographically.
I mean, Peru is huge. I mean, it takes that. This is a different looted site. So all of this is in the Caracas Nazca ecoregion.
These skulls are sitting there?
So the looters will oftentimes leave, set them up in this fashion. There isn't a site I've gone to where I haven't seen something like set up like this in the end. But so I pull out to show the scale. I mean, every little piece of white you see is some part of a human. It's tragic.
Just so much history lost. And so, does this stuff wind up in private collections? Do museums ever get it? Like, what happens to that stuff?
I mean, museums get more private buyers. I actually met a term is vaquero. It's a grave robber. I actually met one. We were I mean, this is one of the things I've been thinking about, like, for the future, like what can be done about this, because the government, nobody from the government's going out there, and so these things end up in private collections, textiles, humans, pottery, things that you would see in museums. It's just nobody from that official administration is taking the trip to go out there and preserve these things.
It seems like just the ancient civilization is a massive mystery. It seems like there are a lot of uncovered stories in that area. And it was a hot spot. And it doesn't seem like there's an incredible amount of research being done other than by independent people.
I mean, so there's just so much in the world. I mean, you throw a stone and you're finding an ancient archaeological site. Yeah, I mean, they're doing, whenever they do construction, they end up coming across structures or bones. I mean, this last expedition, I went all over the country, and there is no lack of archaeological sites. So the money the money it would take to fund research on all these places is just extreme. It's extreme. I think there's a lot of history that goes missed because of what's currently happening. But a lot of times, a lot of the research is focused on what's going to bring tourism.
Machu Picchu, which is also insane. Like, it's incredible. Like, that place is like, what, why, how? Why'd you build it up here? Fucking nuts. A good friend of mine just recently took his family up to Machu Picchu, and it's like, it just doesn't make any sense, man.
Machu Picchu is what started. My family's from Peru, and so I would grow up going there. And I had this back when you were filming with cameras with like a videotape. There's footage of me finding seashells at Machu Picchu when I was like 10 years old. Back then, you could go wherever you wanted. You didn't have to stay on the path. And so,
and for people that don't know, Machu Picchu is like what, 12,000 feet above sea level?
Yeah. And so I'm a kid, and I mean, I saw the footage, the grainy footage, and I'm showing my dad on the camera, like, Dad, look, I found seashells, and I saw them inside of, they were like glinting in the mud in the wall, and so I took them out. And that's what started this whole process for me. I was just like, that, it blew my mind that there were seashells way up there, and so I studied about Earth cataclysms and ancient history, and when sea levels were different, and that is a moment that started kind of this whole path for me.
How old were you at the time?
10 or 12.
Wow. How many times have you been there since?
Well, growing up, we used to go every year and a half or so, and that's continued into my adulthood. It's only been recently, the past 2 years, that I've been doing what I've been doing, which is like hardcore solo expeditions.
And so when you look at a site like Machu Picchu or any of these ancients, what is the timeline that conventional archaeologists attribute?
I mean, they attribute it to the Inca, which late 1400s, early 1500s. I think the Inca were conquered by the Spanish in 1530, I think, and so most of that megalithic architecture they attribute to the Inca. However, there's evidence that there's a site, Jamie, if you could pull up, it's called Viñaque. This place there's megalithic architecture with precision that goes down 50 feet under this mountain. Check this out.
This is crazy.
So I believe they filled in the top to in modern times, but and very soon there's going to be a guy who shows us a map.
Wow. And so you see very different construction.
Very different
styles
construction.
From the bottom to the top. But that's how it always is, right? The most complex stuff.
So that's showing that this architecture here, it goes down 50 feet into this mountain.
And what do they think this was?
So this complex is all attributed to the Wari. It's attributed to the culture that came right before the Incas. which doesn't make much sense to me because what you see on the surface, that's Warri construction.
Which is small stones.
Right. And
what are they held together with?
Mud as mortar. And but then, so this site has only been 4% excavated. 4%. It's underneath all of it is that type of architecture, which is crazy.
So you have mud and mortar with very small stones, and then underneath it you have precision cut megalithic stones. And how big are these stones, and where are they supposedly coming from?
So here's a funny story. So this place, if you look, you can find
these enormous 1,000-ton stones that are 7 meters up in the air.
We're just gonna put them in the base of our structure.
Yeah, like, what? They didn't even talk about them. They talked about these beautiful structures that are on top of that are clearly Roman, but the stuff underneath it just defies logic. And some of the stones that were never moved.
It feels a little bit lazy, the responses that the mainstream kind of gives to some of this stuff, as opposed to just saying I don't know.
It's purposely ignorant. It's more than lazy, because if it was just lazy, they've been confronted by all this other alternative archaeology evidence and all these other people that have explored these things and shown, and that can.
Hey, do you still love me? Do you still love me?
Why are you asking me that?
I'm just curious.
You don't seem bothered by the answer either way. Like, actually, you have to be like, no matter if you did, cool. If you didn't, no problem. Why are you so nonchalant about this?
We're doing.
You don't care.
So is the answer yes?
That looks like I can.
Do you still love me?
I showed you.
How?
Yesterday,
So how come you don't say?
It's wild, bro. It's wild.
Hey, do you still love me? Do you still love me?
So they had to attribute it to more recent societies
So go back to Pepe.
Yeah. Then you're like, okay, you guys need to shut the fuck up.
There's a power in admitting, like, if we're looking for the truth here, then it's like, okay, we got this evidence that disrupts this that we thought before. All right, just say that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They
just
can't.
say it.
It's fascinating that they can't, because they are like every other form of academia. They are just like, you might as well be talking to a gender studies teacher. Just like they don't want to look at reality. They just want their narrative, and they want to be the gatekeepers of information, and then they just want to push that narrative forward. And they're so mean.
Dude, I only started recently being on X within the past year, and I'm just like, the cattiness of it all, man, is...
Well, it just exposes them. It exposes their personality. And they're just not the type of people that I want to talk to about anything. Especially not... You're not the gatekeeper. If you're a 41-year-old person, you're not the gatekeeper of ancient history. You can't be. There's too much. There's too much all over the world. It doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. And that's, I think, why they're so terrified of people like Felipe Bionda and the scans underneath the pyramids. Because if he's right, and it appears he is, over 200 different independent scans. And they all say the exact same thing. If he's right, you guys are fucked. Because you're going to eventually have to say, we're wrong.
You have a moment here where you can choose which direction to go. Pretty soon that moment's going to be lost.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is what the evidence is presented, and like you said, verified over 200 different studies. It's like, all right, we might be wrong. Let's let's see.
They don't want to do that. They're still digging their heels in, and they're just discrediting themselves, which is fascinating. It's really interesting. It's really interesting to watch these assholes just like flounder.
Well, and it makes me think, what's the reason behind it? Is it pride? Is it ego? Is it because you wrote some books on it that you need to keep selling? Is it because it's in textbooks that universities use? I mean,
It's all the above.
there's a lot of layers to it.
It's all the above, but you can tell just hierarchy of academia, where you have these tenured professors, and then there's the people that are coming up under them, and they all follow this same sort of rigid structure. And so, back with early exit, if your player goes down in the first half, you still get paid in cash when your bet settles. No bonus bets, no waiting. While other sportsbooks don't offer injury protection, DraftKings covers the entire first half, even the second quarter. An early exit works on live bets too. Pre-game or in-game, DraftKings has got you covered. New to DraftKings, new customers can bet just $5 to get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the code ROGAN. That's code ROGAN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
Well, people have to really understand that the whole concept of mainstream academia is only a few hundred years old. And that's what's weird. It's like, so these very recent structures, these very recent establishments want to be the gatekeepers of information of a vast swath of the world. I mean, it's not possible. It's not possible that you know everything.
It's not. I was thinking about that.
You know a lot. They know a lot about things they have discovered. They do. They know a lot about Mesopotamia. They know a lot about Iraq. All the amazing stuff that they find. Some stuff they've very accurately dated, but it doesn't explain things that you can't explain. And they want to try to just
Fit it.
Yeah, that's what's goofy.
Yeah, that's. I mean, look, if the puzzle piece doesn't fit, stop trying to force it.
Oh, it's like more gigantic, spectacular pieces. Well, those aren't important. I mean, Ben Van Kerkwijk with this most recent discoveries where they're using the ground penetrating radar to find labyrinths and this 40-meter long metallic object that's inside of an atrium down there. Like, what is that thing?
Yeah, I hope it's something that if they go looking, and I hope they do. This is the other thing. It's like, let's start people towards this, like, now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, figure this out. I don't know why I thought this. I think it might be if it's some sort of must close the line.
You're trying to get me sex.
Brest make their Champions League debut today. Are going to be a very special game for the club.
Just imagine your first games in Europe are going to be in the Champions League. Even me saying that Brest are going to those guys.
So, illogical dig. So these things are really old.
Dude, and his accuracy was some element
115,
115, something like that.
From 1989, when element 115 wasn't even discovered until the 2000s.
I mean, that's why when he's, I forget who I was talking to outside, but we were talking about, I think we were talking to Jamie about that, about Bob Lazar talking about some of these things coming from an archaeological sites.
Yeah.
Let's go find it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's where it gets really weird. Where it gets really weird is these mummies.
We're going to go into the mummies.
You go there, Jamie?
Eric Burleson, a representative, talking about how he's asked the White House to give DOD the power to let them go see this stuff, including that very
reportedly an object that is not in this country, that is so large it cannot be moved. That they've built an entire building around it, and I think either Greer or another individual has actually mentioned this site, but I'm not going to mention it because it is a classified location. But there is a really apparent, there's reported a really large object, and that's one of the locations that I'm requesting to get to. It's going to involve a lot to make that happen, but that may be the final destination.
Shit like that makes me want to run for president. Because that's all I would care about. The economy would be in shambles. I'd be like, show me the UFOs.
Do you think they'd do it? Because I've heard that like
they kill me.
I mean, it's on that need to know basis where they're keeping stuff from presidents. You know, Kennedy got too close.
I don't think that's what they killed Kennedy for, but I think there's a bunch of things. But
there's a whole lot of.
Yeah, but the UFO people love to think that it's UFOs. That's why they killed Kennedy. But they think everything's UFOs. But it definitely seems like, I don't know about the evidence, because it's just stories. And that's the problem, is that a lot of this stuff, and this is how I feel when a lot of people come on the podcast and talk to me, supposed whistleblowers. Some of them I think are legitimate, and some of them I think are disinformation specialists. I think they're designed to muddy up the water, and this is what they're saying is designed to muddy up the water, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make a lot of the stuff look silly and push certain narratives and just create confusion. And I think a lot of it is probably some black budget, weird science stuff that we have. But then it begs the question, where'd you get that? Yeah. Is that really like the Diana Pasulka work where she's talking about essentially these things are donations, and that we're supposed to like take these things and try to figure it out? And then you look at some of the creation of some different inventions that happened very quickly after Roswell.
I mean, our civilization just been on the boom ever since.
Yeah, weird stuff like the fiber optic stuff and transistors, the history of the creation of the transistor and the people that were involved in it. It seems awful fucking thing.
I mean, I try to stick with what evidence that I can make out tangibly, and it just gets so murky. Like you said, it just all of this gets so murky that I don't know how the truth would even land,
Well, the truth would have to land if there was an overall comprehensive effort by all of the world governments. And there would have to be some sort of unity in this, and some sort of like a recognition that this is really important for the entire human population to understand our past.
Yeah.
And if this is nonsense, let's find out that it's nonsense. And if this is real, this changes everything. And when you look at just look at the vastness of the cosmos, it's not outside of the realm of possibility that this stuff either came from somewhere else or was here because they were here. That there was an advanced civilization here, whether it's our civilization or whatever the hell those mummies are. You know, 'cause
yeah.
the tridactyl mummies are weird. That stuff's weird.
We can talk about that because I went. I did a deep dive with my friend Will, and there is too much amok going on with these things for me to objectively say that they are what people are claiming them to be. There's too much wrong with the picture.
Right. Well, first of all, a lot of them are fake.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
A lot of them people have seemingly created with a bunch of different animal bones and human bones and pieced them together. But then there's the weird ones. You know, there's the weird ones that are mummified and they're in the fetal position, and you see a structure that doesn't exist in the human body, but it's complete with tendons and ligaments, and some of them have eggs inside of them.
Well, Joe, I'm telling you, man. I want to believe.
Do you think it's bullshit?
I think it is much closer to bullshit than it is.
All of them?
Reality. I think what we're dealing with here are real human beings from the past. They are ancient, that have been put together. Will from Incredible History has done some amazing work with some amazing specialists. I mean, people at the top of their field on this stuff, looking at the x-rays and the DICOM files and calling out cuts, calling out incisions that were made, calling out why things don't make sense. And for me, the reason I put out my last video on the Nazca mummies is because there's this whole other narrative too of where the money is, who's making money off of these things, and I think that
is there money being made off those little mummies?
I was
Please.
Yeah, let me.
You got something?
Yeah. So I remember, I forget who you were talking to. I mean, it might have been Jesse Michaels, but